friends, Daniela here, and welcome to another episode of the Spa Marketing Made Easy podcast. I am coming to you live from inside of our Spa Marketing Made Easy Facebook group, and I've got a really important topic for you today. I want to talk about how to set your goals, your financial goals for your company based on how much you want to pay yourself. Now, we are just wrapping up. We had the AMS Monday and Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. And we talked a lot about 2023 planning. And so some of the content, hey, Gail, some of the content that I am going to be sharing with you today is just an overview of the planning sessions that we were talking through on our calls on Monday and Tuesday, okay? But this is such an important piece for spa owners that I really, really want to go deeper with you and give you an idea of how you do this. And next week when I come on live with you, I'm going to be talking about how you actually make the time, right? Because how many of you have said, hey, I have all these big goals and visions and dreams that I want to do and accomplish, but I also have two small kids, or I'm a single mom, or, insert whatever thing that's going on in life that happens, right? And you can feel like you don't have 30 seconds in a day. I was sharing, my son is 2 years old right now and he's learning, potty training. And so I literally cannot go to the bathroom by myself because he wants to come in with me and he's fascinated with all things potty, right? So if I'm someone that's like, oh, I want to have my morning routine and do my meditation and my gratitude journal, doesn't work for me, right? In this season of life. So I still think that those things have value and have great impact on your life. However, Sandra, are you going through that too? So they have great impact on your life. However, it's all about how are we going to time block and set ourselves up for success so that we can still be the best version of ourselves, that we can be making CEO level decisions, not from an overworked and overwhelmed place, which is extremely important. Right? If we are not pouring into ourselves, if we're not caring for ourselves, we are not the best version of ourselves. So that version is building our company. That version is leading our team. That version is setting us up for retirement, right? We want to do better. We want to be better. One of the questions that I asked the spa owners, and we had over 200 people go through this training, 200 spa owners go through this training with us. And I said, what if in 2023, you actually bet on yourself? What if you believed in yourself? What if you looked at yourself the way that others actually saw you? Oh, Ramante, hi. I'm so happy you're here. Ramante and I work together at Belisante. She actually, the story I always remember about you, Ramante, is that you got my wedding dress for me. We got married at the same time, all the things. I'm so happy to see you. Okay, so let me get back to what do you actually want? How are we going to set up how you pay yourself, how you set your goals for your company based on how you're actually paying yourself, okay? So grab a pen and paper. I want you to write this out. Unless you're driving in your car as you're listening, you always can replay this, right? But I want you to really think about what are the things that you want in 2023. So do you want to pay cash for your kids' tuition at private school? Do you want to go on a family vacation for each of the school breaks that your kids have? Do you want to fly first class on all of your flights? Do you want a hot tub? Do you want to invest a certain amount of money to reach your goals, your retirement goals? Whatever it is, doesn't matter, right? Do you want to go out to eat every night? Do you want to have someone that comes and cleans your house? Anything is valid. Anything is okay. It's what is going to make you feel abundant, happy, fulfilled, like you have all the things that you need. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want you to do, and you may need to, if you're in partnership, you may need to talk with your spouse or partner to really understand your household income and what these particular financial goals are. Let's see, I need 15K for the ammunition of education I want to take this year. And so it is. So what you're going to do then is really look at your finances, have a money date with whomever you're in partnership with, and write out like, okay, school tuition cost X amount. 3 vacations with airfare and accommodations cost X amount. First class tickets for all business and personal travel cost X amount. Hot tub cost X amount. Investments to reach our retirement goals cost X amount. My living expenses are X amount, right? So you're going to put all of those numbers down and then really look at, what do I need to pay myself? What does our household income need to be? If you're single, you would need to come up with all of that. If you're in partnership, then it's, all right, what do we need our household income? If my spouse or partner is making X amount, what do I need to bring in for us collectively to be able to live the life that we want? And so then you write out, in order to reach my goals, I will pay myself X amount per year. In order to pay myself X amount per year, my company will generate X amount of revenue. All right, so I want to do an example here, and I'm going to use $100,000 as the salary because that's really like a lot of our first goals. Excuse me. If you can pay yourself $100,000, not your company generating that, that's a whole different story. I want you to actually be paying yourself your take-home salary to be $100,000. So you guys will hear me talk about Profit First a lot. I'm a big fan of Mike Michalowicz and his method. I've taken his principles and kind of adjusted it based on what I see in spa. And so the way that I recommend our spa owners to operate their businesses is by doing 40% payroll, 30% operations, 15% profit, and 15% tax. Now, this is going to vary based on your specialty, right? If you're a lash artist, you're going to have a higher profit margin than someone who's doing custom facials all day, right? If you're doing permanent makeup, same thing, going to be different than someone that's has a wax studio. So take these as kind of a benchmark and then adjust them based on your specific profit margins, okay? And so how you're operating your business in this manner is by saying, okay, if I have $10,000 come in a week, I'm going to have different bank accounts, and I'm going to put $4,000 into my payroll bank account. I'm going to put $3,000 into my operations bank account. I'm going to put 15% into my profit account and 15% into $1,500 in my profit account and $1,500 in my tax account. Okay. Then you're going to pay yourself $25,000 as a W-2 employee. All right. This will come out of your payroll. This is your reasonable salary. This is going to come out of your 40% payroll that you're setting down. All right. Then what you need to calculate is what times 15% equals 75,000. Because that is what is going to give you the amount of revenue, because the 15% is your profit. That's the additional revenue that you can actually be paying yourself. And I did the math already. The answer is 500,000. So if you want to pay yourself 100,000, if you can have a spa that generates 500,000. Now there's obviously exceptions again, as I was saying, but this is a good kind of benchmark rule of thumb. So let me calculate this down so you can see what is actually possible. Okay. So let's assume that you're open 6 days a week, 8 hours a day. You have yourself plus 2 other employees, and you're open 50 weeks a year. I always like to do the 50 weeks a year. That will incorporate, like, if you're closed for holidays, snow days, depending on where in the country you are. But 50 weeks is a nice round number. So if we take 500,000 divided by 50 weeks, it's going to give us $10,000 per week. If we take $10,000 divided by 6 days that we're open, we're going to need to generate 1,667 per day. And if we divide that by 2 providers, then it's 833 per provider per day. So that is what your providers would need to generate to have a $500,000 spa. Now, how am I going to break this down in a provider schedule? If they're doing 4 facials at $150 per facial, that's going to generate $600. If they do 1 upgrade, so let's say you have a $35 mask upgrade that's, you can add on there. And if you're doing a 35% retail to service, if you did $600 in service, you have a 35% retail to service, that's going to be $222.25 in product sales. So that brings you up to $857.25 in revenue for that provider. All right. So it's really not an over the top projection of saying, can you get a provider booked 4 facials in a day where they can have 1 mask upgrade and a 35% retail to service, right? I'm recommending in a non-medical setting that you have your providers generating or shooting for 50% retail to service. So super important there. All right. So how are we going to motivate our team? Okay. So let's say that the goal for each provider is 850, just to have a nice clean round number. In your daily huddle, you could say, hey, Jen, you've got 3 facials, 2 lash lifts on the books today. That's going to bring in right around $650 in service revenue. That means you've got about $200 to sell in retail to hit your goal for the day. Now, if that retail doesn't get sold to the clients in for service that day, they can get on the phone, they can call past clients, they can be working on doing upgrades. There's lots of different things that provider, they know that their goal is to hit $850 in total revenue for the day that they have generated. That's a completely different energy than saying, guys, we've got to hit 500,000, which can seem so big and out of reach for so many people. But when we break it down this way and say, how are we going to get that extra $200? Then that's more possible. That's more possible. That's easier, right? So always break it down like that for your team. But here's the thing that we need to remember is what is in it for them, our team members, okay? So you want to hit this company goal because that's what's required to live the life that you want to live, all the things, the first class, the private school, the et cetera, whatever you need, whatever you put on your list. But what do your employees need for the life that they want to live? How can you support them? How can you make them feel that, they are fulfilled and happy and being seen, heard, and valued for their contributions to your company, the culture, the impact that you're making in the world, and ultimately in helping you reach the goals for the life that you want to live. So what I love to do is ask your employees what they want. So get a Google form, ask them 5 gifts that they would love. So 5 gifts under 100, 5 gifts under 250, 5 gifts under 500. Just have a list of things that they think would be like just incredible gifts and celebrate them and use those as kind of motivators for, hitting sales goals or selling memberships or, whatever, hitting a certain retail to service percentage. And make sure that you're celebrating those small wins as well, even with little things of just like doing a Starbucks run for the group, for your team. That's something, those small acknowledgments, those small wins can really boost morale in a company. Okay, so your homework for tonight, I want you guys to talk with your spouse or partner if you are in partnership. I want you to get really clear on what you want that number to be. If you're not in partnership, I want you to dive into your finances. I want you to figure out what that number is for you. Okay. What do you want to pay yourself next year? And then what I want you to do is calculate what amount of revenue does my spa need to generate in 2023 so that I can pay myself that amount? And how am I going to take that number and use that to set financial goals daily, weekly, monthly throughout the year? Okay. Now, here's a little side note. I know that I attract a lot of big dreamers, a lot of type A people out there. And a lot of you are saying, well, I need to pay myself 300,000. And great, good for you. Right now, if you're a solo that's not even generating 100,000 in revenue and you're wanting to pay yourself 300,000, let's create a 3-year plan. And let's really map out what are the milestones that need to be hit. What actions do I need to be taking to get myself to that level where I can pay myself 300,000, right? It's 100% possible. It's just really setting up the plan and sticking with it, being consistent. And the question that I ask a lot is, how committed are you? How committed are you to your success? How committed are you to this dream, this vision? Really understanding what you're committed to is going to help you know how long it's going to take you to get there. And here's the thing, guys, it can take you 10 years. Nothing wrong with that. If you're more committed to your self-care, your family, different things like that, and you're saying, no, I'm not willing to work nights or weekends. No, I'm not willing to give up dinner at the table with my kids. I'm more committed to my family and my kids than I am to paying myself 300,000. Good for you. Good for you. Just give yourself a longer path to get there. So it's really about understanding the commitments that you're making, what has higher value, and then mapping out a legit plan with milestones of when you can actually get there. Okay. So next week, I'm going to do a live here in the group again on how to actually make the time on your schedule, how I'm doing calendar audits, and really getting focused on what time availability do I actually have and how can I make the time to make that possible for me to reach my goals. All right. So thank you so much, friends. I love being here with you. I love, all of you that are commenting on here and engaging. It's so beautiful to see your goals, your dreams, your visions, what is possible for you in 2023. And remember, ask yourself the question, what would 2023 be like if I went all in on myself, if I believed in myself, if I saw myself as others actually saw me, which, my friend, is beautiful. Okay, I'll catch you next week. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.